does.
The place where I
voted, you
got to
voted.
vote, because I didn't get a mail-in ballot, so I had no choice but to go in. I walked right in and walked out. There was like
That's
nobody
fantastic.
there.
So, well, I'm glad to hear that you voted, and I hope all of the people who are following us are glad that you voted too. We are back for another show post Halloween, and what a better way to spend election night than with the Horror Syndicate? Am I wrong? We're here. We're doing a bit of questions. We've got some news we're going to get to first. If you guys want to share the shit out of our video here, our live video, then go subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube.
Share that shit.
Actually, I want to hear that. Okay. Now I wanted to make sure my mic sounded okay. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show, the Horror Syndicate Discourse. We are live, and you know that you can comment. You'll see it up on the screen, and we will answer your questions because we're doing a free-for-all tonight, talking about horror. You guys can ask us questions. I have a list of questions to get to. We're going to try not to let Nate be like Kevin Smith and do the, 45 minutes per question answer, right? Hey, David Gill's with us. How you doing, man? I'm doing well. We are. Who is got their mic up or whatever? All right. So we're here. Let's talk, guys. How's everybody doing on this election day? Seth, how you doing today?
Never better.
Fantastic.
It's a different response than usual.
Mark Graham said he shared your shit. My shit? Thank you. Who got paid time and a half today to go vote? I got paid to vote.
I did not get paid to vote.
Yeah, I did. Nate, are we cool today? You Dunder Mifflin hat?
Dunder Mifflin hat.
Happy Dunder Mifflinite.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm here in my office.
Okay. Well, Alex Ross is with us again today. He's happy to see us. Yes, I'm happy to see you too. Thank you. If you have a good question for us, let us know. So the way the show is working tonight, we're gonna answer any question that you have for us. If you have a question, put it in the comments. We'll show it up on screen, just like this one here, and we'll answer it as best we can. I do have questions as backup, though, if nobody wants to come out. And we're going to start with one anyway, one of these questions. But first, before we get to any questions, I want to talk about three things. And number one, the Tom Holland Fright Night 2 Resurrection. What are you guys thinking? You excited about skipping over the original part 2, or just Tom Holland, blow your fancy? Blow your fancy doesn't make sense.
I'm fine with it. I mean, like if it was like Blumhouse or James Wan or Jordan Peele doing it, I'd be a little skeptical. But since it's the OG Tom Holland doing it, I'm pretty excited.
I'm not a fan of Fright Night, so I have nothing to say.
Get out of here.
Okay.
Say what now?
Every time I say this.
Say what now?
Say what now?
I did my reaction. It's on our YouTube page where we have 520 subscribers now. So if you haven't subscribed, you probably should.
Catch up.
Nate, what about you? You seem to be pretty happy about it on the chat.
Did I even comment? I didn't even know about it.
You didn't? I thought was it you? No, it must have been Seth.
I don't think so. Well,
I missed like 400 of them.
I just know there's a new comment.
But now that I hear it, Tom Holland's one of the coolest motherfuckers to the horror community there is. So
Agreed.
that guy is so supportive of everybody. He said so many nice things about me, man. That guy could do whatever fuck he wants. It's his baby. Why shouldn't he?
So just so you know, Daddy Daytona and Keith have been friends on Facebook, but no longer.
You have been deleted.
What about you, Jared? Any thoughts on this? No? Okay.
Talking about Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, Spider-Man Tom Holland. Okay. So we got a couple things going on in the comments here. Daddy Daytona's here. He's very What does it say?
Somebody's
Here, I
glitching.
thought he was going to miss the show, but the client canceled. They knew he was going to watch the Horse Syndicate Discourse. There we go. We do have a question from Kevin Gabalt. Have any of you guys seen the Platform Argentinian?
Argentinian.
Argentinian, yeah.
I haven't seen Harpoon, but it's on my Voodoo.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them, but the Platform looks really cool.
Terrified is awesome.
I've heard that.
I highly recommend Terrified. Harpoon, I saw it, but I don't remember it, so I can't suggest it. Platform.
It's got the kid from Turbo Kid in it, if I remember right. It's on my list.
Okay. Well, this was the next question. Our next thing. Chris says, "What y'all thinking? Peele remaking?" Well, first of all, Jordan Peele's production company is remaking People Under the Stairs. He's not doing it. I trust Jordan Peele. This is absolutely 100% unfucking necessary. That's how I feel about it.
I really like People Under the Stairs. It was just one of those movies I didn't know about, and I finally watched it, I think, last year, and I really love it. But, I mean, again, I trust Jordan Peele. I like all the stuff he's done so far, so, I mean, I'll be watching it regardless.
If anybody should tackle People Under the Stairs, he's the guy.
Yeah, I would say if anybody did do it, I would want Peele to do it.
Maybe somebody should tackle him to stop making some of these movies.
Nah, he can make as many movies as he wants to make.
All right.
When you're that good at it.
Brad Rusk says, I already asked in the pre-show, but what is the cringiest gore scene or kill that gets you?
The girl in hospital. Okay, go ahead. I won't talk.
I was just talking about how I hate teeth stuff. I hate teeth stuff. But anyway, yeah, go ahead, Nate. You got something? Cringiest gore scene or kill that gets you?
The scene that I just thought went too far and bothered me was the girl in Hostel 2 with the Lady Bathory kill. Upside down with the scythe. That was not very fun to watch at all.
Yeah, think about it for a second. It's a tough one.
Mine is implied. You don't actually see the kill, but just the imagery involved would be the impalement scene from Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, when they come up upon it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't see it, but I mean, you can imagine it. And just the end result is like
the whole movie's cringeworthy.
The de-gloving in Gerald's Game was also really hard to watch.
Yeah, that was a good one. Didn't expect that to happen.
I don't really know.
Yeah, well, the scene.
You don't get to talk. You're costing Daddy Daytona money, apparently. Go ahead.
I know the one thing that always gets me is in Hellraiser 2, the guy who thinks he has all the spiders on him. And hands him the blade. Like, I don't know. Like, I think my copy is unrated, so it's even more extreme. But I have to turn my head sometimes during that scene.
It fucked me up when I saw that in '89 or whenever the hell I saw it. Yeah, that scene was something.
Hell yeah, that's a real good one, man. Because I didn't think about that, but that's razor blades and shit. Keith, what were you gonna say?
I was like, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I think mine's more the same as yours. It's like teeth and fingernails. Like it's more stuff that like could actually happen to me accidentally.
Right.
Like things I could imagine. Like I was actually gonna say it, but you said it in the pre-show. Was the scene from Stair of Echoes whenever she's dragging her fingernails across the floorboard.
The one Imprint, Takashi Miike's segment from Masters of Horror. Didn't they have like
the
fingernail?
The band episode, yeah.
Yeah, that may have been the most gruesome thing Miike made, and I was like, that's saying a lot for Miike.
Nick Wood, we're gonna come back to your question in a second. Terrified is on Shudder. Terrifier is dog shit. Do you guys think movie theaters are dying? Question mark. COVID is really helping that.
Sadly, yes, as of right now. But I think it'll reboot very well once this is all over.
I don't want to say it, but I think they are. Same with physical media, which I can't stand. Like, I don't want Halloween.
You can't stand physical media?
Physical media is going away. Like once AK comes, it's gone. Like DVD sales are the only thing that sell more than anything, and it drives me nuts. But
because they're cheap.
It's just like I don't want Halloween Kills to come VOD. I want to watch it in a theater. I don't want to watch it on my TV at home. I want to experience it in a theater with a giant sound system.
I agree. There are certain things that are theatrical experiences, like Star Wars, like a new Halloween movie. I'm not like the biggest. That's not my. I can't be. I'm not. Today. But there are certain things that need to be seen. The next Marvel movie, Black Widow, and all that stuff should be seen in the theater on the big screen. So yeah, it sucks that this is happening, but it's unavoidable. I think they could come back.
I think the big chain theaters will be fine, but like the independent theaters,
the mom and pops,
yeah, they'll probably die out. Unfortunately,
maybe new ones will pop up in their place. Let's hope. Let's see. I recently watched Freaked. Let's see. I don't know what this is. I recently watched Freaked 1993 for the first time.
I love that.
I thought. Okay, you can see what it says.
Are there any movies that you watch now for the first time or remember seeing it as a kid? I couldn't. I watched it at the first time now. So as a kid.
Which one?
You saying
Alex Winter directed it, and Randy Quaid was in it.
Somebody's correcting him. Freaks is he's talking about Freaks with Alex Winter.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Alex Winter.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves played Dog Boy, uncredited.
Oh, yeah. This isn't a horror movie, but Chris Hall mentions the curb scene. Bite the Curb from American History X, yeah.
You don't even see it.
The niche thing will be the drive-ins. Yeah, drive-ins are kind of coming back because of the social distancing aspect of it. Nate and Seth both recently got to see Halloween and 4 and 5 at drive-ins over the weekend. And
yeah.
Based on our live feed, it looked like that was pretty packed, Nate.
Yeah, they were. And the truth is, the one I went to in Georgetown Drive-In in Indiana, that's the first time they'd been open on Halloween since 1970.
Jesus.
And they usually close like midway through October, but because of how many people have been showing up, they stayed open all month. So yeah, they've had tremendous. I mean, they've gotten to where they were parking people across the road. People were walking over at lawn chairs. That's how packed they've been this season.
That's good. At least you guys got drive-ins.
No, they may pop up even more here in the future. Seth, how you work at that drive-in? How is the attendance at your drive-in?
It's been steady. This weekend, not so much because the temperature dropped to the 30s and 20s. But this upcoming weekend, it's supposed to be in the fucking 60s.
Yeah, it was 75 degrees here today. Gorgeous day. Perfect day to go out and vote. So we're going to move to one of our questions that was from before the show. I'm going to put up on the screen. Not which movie made you a horror fan? That's from our good friend David Gill. So let's go around the table and kind of, I mean, I'll say it again. Freddy's Revenge was the first one I saw, and I was hooked from there on. So, yeah, I was 6 years old. Who else has got one?
I think I've told mine before. I mean, my first memory of horror is Evil Dead 2. And we had it like crudely recorded on a VHS tape with Labyrinth and I can't remember if it was Labyrinth and Monster Squad or Labyrinth and Drop Dead Fred. But I watched Evil Dead 2 a lot because it was on that tape. And that's probably why it's my favorite horror movie. Every time I watch it, I just get a giant smile on my face.
Drop Dead Fred's your favorite horror movie?
Oh my God. But I was told though, growing like when I was like 2 or 3, I used to watch Texas Chainsaw a lot. And when it would go off, I would cry for them to rewind it so I could watch it again. So technically that was my first one, I guess, but I don't remember that at all.
You're a freak.
I'm sorry.
But in a good way, because I love that movie. Nate, Seth, Jared, what about you? What movie made you? Nate, I know we've talked about this before, but David Gill asks, and he's a friend of ours.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. Mine is kind of as yours, but it's kind of a cheat. It's kind of a tie because I saw Freddy's Revenge and Dream Warriors on the same night. and it was pretty much that night. I back to back on a double feature. So I can't say one made me more, but I mean, technically, Freddy's Revenge was the first one I watched, and I was like hooked. Like I was a Freddy fan. And I had teased horror before then. I was 12. I remember, I think the year before, I watched Return of the Living Dead with my dad one night late, and we just had a blast with it. But that didn't make me like go pursue horror. It was that night after seeing Nightmare 2 and 3 back to back that I went and pursued horror. I started saying, all right, I want to see more of these. It's like that was like, I was afraid. But I remember seeing the cover for Freddy's Revenge at the video store. I'm like, I want nothing to do with that.
Was that the one where he's like peeking out of the ripped paper? Yeah, man, I love that. I love it. Yeah.
So that was the movie where it set me on the journey to explore everything at the video store, basically, and anything on USA or whatever was on TNT, Shonda or whatever, and all those Rhonda Shear. I don't remember who was on in 1988. I guess it was Joe Bob and Rhonda and
Gilbert Gottfried did it.
Gilbert Gottfried and all that. It's been so long, I can't remember who at one time, but thank God those people existed.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I would have never discovered Trauma if not for USA Up All Night. Also, if you're watching, you can definitely answer as Scott Montgomery did. The movies that got him started: Carrie, Blackula, The Funhouse, and The Changeling. The Changeling is fantastic. Blackula is okay. How about you, man?
It's hard to tell.
What werewolf movie are you going to tell us about today? Come on.
What's that?
What werewolf movie are you going to tell us about today?
I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, I was more of a casual horror fan. You know, like I had the Chucky movies and the Pet Sematary movies on USA, and I was a big fan of the Universal movies. But I didn't become a little more hardcore with horror until I was a teenager, and it may have been like Jason Lives or even Halloween H2O, which was the first one I saw in theaters. I actually, you know what? I think it was Scream. I think Scream was a big one for me. I was 13, I think, when that came out.
I was 1.
All right, Jared.
We've gone over this a couple of times over the years of the show. It's even in my bio on the Horror Syndicate website. The first movie that kind of got me into just horror and being terrified was Jaws. I was like 5 when I saw it, and like way too young to even like. When I don't even live with an ocean nearby, I live in a landlocked state, and going into the lake as a kid, I'm like, I don't want to go out too deep. What's going on out there? Like that movie definitely like fostered like a love of like the stuff. Oh, Jay Feliciano said The Gate. That also kind of was another one too when I was at that age. And the Monster Squad obviously was another one too.
The Gate,
but,
the little
Jaws for me for sure
got me in The Gate, and the guy coming out of the wall. That was always good. There's some of our origins of horror. The next question that we got from our followers is from Elm Street, Nancy or Alice. It says Alive, but Alice. I fucking typed that out and I'm dumb. It's Alice. Nancy or Alice?
I'm gonna say Alice. I'll get kicked in the nuts for that, but
Alive. Which one? Alive or Alice?
Do you like her dead or alive, Seth?
Well, she's still alive. She beat Freddy twice and lived, so she got the upper hand.
I think I like Alice more as a character. I feel like Alice as a character is more developed than Nancy.
But Nancy went in bare bones. Alice got other power. She got dragged into it, and Nancy had to do it all by herself, basically. Nancy, Alice had friends that were helping her, like Dan and then Jacob. Nate, I'm curious what you would say because,
I gotta go Nancy because she was someone who faced it head on and actually went after his ass with, as you said, without the assistance, without the boost in confidence. Like right away, she was trying to save everyone at the same time. She was trying to protect her mom and her dad and Glenn and Rod, and she was trying to solve the mystery. And then, like again, she set up. She went chasing the bad guy, which is not something we normally see. I mean, of course, Alice did. By the time she took her little Rambo montage break.
But again, you're also absorbing everybody's powers. That Nancy didn't get to do that. I think I'm on the fence. I'm not going to answer. Jared, what about you? Well, Nancy was my hero. Alice was my crush. It's like, what do you do?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think I would have I definitely had a crush on Lisa.
Yeah. Jared, do you have an answer?
Can he hear us?
Can you hear us, Jared? Okay, Jared doesn't have an answer. We'll move on to this question. Why do we always badmouth horror? Chad Pence, that's a great question. Why do you badmouth new horror?
I would say I would take the we out of there.
Yeah, I absolutely don't. We were talking about a new guy at work today was talking about horror, and he's like, "Yeah, I just saw Hereditary. It was great." I was like, "Did you see Midsummer?" He's like, "Yeah, it was awesome." I was like, "Did you see The Witch?" He's like, "Oh, I loved it." So I don't know. I think Autopsy of Jane Doe is one of my favorites from the past 10 years. I mean, there's a lot of great new horror. Get Out, Us. I mean, we've done shows on all this stuff. Jared,
I mean, ultimately, it is up to opinion, but it does seem like some of the newer stuff does kind of get backlash because, it's not traditional. Some of the
it's not a slasher.
more, it seems like fresh ideas are coming from directors that aren't wanting to rehash stuff that's been done before, like, with Hereditary or Midsommar, The Witch, or even Lighthouse, like just to name a couple of them. Like, those ones are movies you're either going to like or you're not going to like. It's like there really isn't a gray area with some of those movies.
There's a lot of horror fans, too, that are kind of stuck in their ways, even back in the 80s, they didn't want an original concept like Halloween 3. They wanted the same old redundant stuff over and over again.
But then whenever something gets a remake, they're like, why don't you do something original?
All right, I think Daddy he says goes outside of what new horror sucks. I don't know about that. We could probably do a top 25 horror from the last 10 years, and they'd all be good movies. I know Nate could probably rattle them off right now.
Yeah, I could.
You don't want to open this fucking gate with me.
Yeah.
we don't have long enough.
We'll move on to the next question.
You're gonna turn Nathan into John Goodman from Big Lebowski. You're about to enter a world of pain.
Here, where does the 2013 Evil Dead rank among the other three? That's from Trevor Boland.
Third best.
It's my favorite. Period. Out of all the Evil Dead movies, I like it the best.
It's probably my second or third.
I like it better than Army of Darkness.
So number 3 then? You like Evil Dead?
Yeah.
It's definitely
a shame. And it's a shame that Jane Levy isn't coming back.
I know. That's news. That's total news. Hopefully, is it going to be a new character, or is it the same? Is it Mia?
It's supposed to be a new character, isn't it?
Okay, then that's okay a little bit. But Jane Levy was awesome in that movie, especially the last 20 minutes or so. Jesus,
I think it's probably second on my list after the original.
I'd put her performance above 90% of the genre in that movie.
All right, Norman Bates or Hannibal Lecter? For what? For dinner or? Well, Hannibal Lecter has a great large palate that we could definitely. I mean, he cooks too. So Norman Bates is just a psycho. Get it? As far as
he'll clean for you though.
I think Norman Bates is crazy, but Hannibal's awesome.
He'll make sure your sheets are done and your pillows are fluffed.
That's true. I think the one I prefer of the two would be Hannibal Lecter.
I'd probably be Norman. Yeah, Norman Bates.
Nate, what about you?
It's tough, but I'd have to go. Lecter's far more interesting. I think there's a lot more there. He's more terrifying because he's Norman. I think Norman is just he. First of all, Norman's not really aware that he's doing what he's doing, but Hannibal fucking knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. I was speaking on that topic, did any of you actually watch the Bates Motel TV series?
Yeah, not all of it.
Yeah, I tried. I didn't care for it. I also didn't care for the Hannibal show, or whatever it's called.
I haven't watched that, but walking on the scene the other day, they need to do the research. Picture of West Virginia with an ocean.
Here we go. What are your thoughts on indie films like Justin Seaman films? Justin Seaman's The Barn is pretty good.
I made a movie with him.
Yep, Nate is making an indie film now called On a Dark and Bloody Ground.
We did Volumes of Blood together.
Yeah, Volumes of Blood. Was he a part of 2 or did he?
He was a part 2. When we were doing part 2, I told I had done artwork for The Barn. I'd done a whole T-shirt. And I did the board game and all that. And I was working with Justin on that. Knew how sharp he was. This is before The Barn had come out. And I told, I think the trailer was out. So I told PJ, is like, if you want to get some talent on this film, you need to go after some of these people. And Justin was one of the guys on that list. I told him, you need to get Justin to direct a segment. Because I think The Barn's going to be a hit. And this guy is really sharp.
It kind of is. I mean, in the indie world, it's one of those it's pretty well recognized. The Witching Season's really good. Which that just popped up. Yeah, so Scream Team releasing. There's no secret. Justin and I, we talk not quite as often as we used to, but we talk a lot. And I support everything he does. There's a lot of pretty decent movies. I mean, Nate mentioned Volumes of Blood, which he's got a great segment called Encyclopedia Satanica. That's totally worth the price of admission for that movie. But there's a lot of movies you can get over there at Scream Team releasing, like The Sleeper, I'm Dreaming of White Doomsday, The Witching Season, and many more. We support indie horror. So, what's that?
Close Calls is one of my
Close Calls, yes. Did you see the German cover art?
Mm-hmm.
Who did that? Do you know who did that?
No idea.
It's very, very cool. Richard Stringham. I can't wait for his next project. Yeah, we definitely support indie horror. I have a whole shelf. The Terrifier's not in there because I own it, but it's not with the indie horror movies.
Damn it!
That movie's not very good. I'm sorry. Anybody have anything else? Yeah, Scream Team is doing God's work. Okay. They're doing a good job. What is your favorite movie? Hold on, I'm typing these out so people can see them. Let's see. What y'all think of Hellstrom? I've never seen it.
I've never seen that either.
I wouldn't consider Deathgasm as indie as what we're talking about. That probably had a way bigger budget.
That's the thing.
Deathgasm is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
The whole term indie horror is too broad because indie. I don't think when you're talking about Justin Seaman and guys like me and other guys in the
Scream Team mostly.
Group, that's not really independent horror. It's no budget, low budget, underground horror movie making because because independent movies can be $1 million budget or $350,000 budget. You're talking about people making movies for $7,000, $10,000, $15,000. It's just a different.
Like Voorhees, how great was that?
What's what?
Voorhees, that was awesome. That's sarcasm.
Nope.
What is happening, Jared?
Deathgasm was fun. I love the death metal vibes from it. The band, there was a really cool zombie kills in that for sure. That movie is.
How much it cost to make Deathgasm?
I'd say,
but
Good.
No, go ahead. I'm still trying to find that dollar amount.
I don't know. I didn't have anything to say.
Scott Montgomery said he can't wait to see Antlers. I can't either. I've been waiting on that movie forever.
Yeah,
that was fantastic. And you got another great filmmaker, isn't it? That's shit. What's his name? Oh, he doesn't usually make horror.
I'm looking it up. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of those things where we've got really good filmmakers making horror now. So all these people saying modern horror sucks are up their fucking ass because
Scott Cooper.
Scott Cooper. I mean, Scott is a tremendous filmmaker, and he's making a horror movie. And this is a guy that made Hostels, right? And,
yeah, he did Hostels, Crazy Heart, Out of the Furnace.
Crazy Heart. Come on, the guy that made Crazy
really
Heart is making a horror film, or has made a horror film.
And he also did Black Mass, which I never got to see.
The Whitey Bulger movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What is your favorite movie that blends horror and humor?
Probably Reanimator or Dead Alive.
Return of the Living Dead, maybe?
It's hard because there's so many good ones. Shaun of the Dead, and Return of the Living Dead, and Evil Dead 2. What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah, Shaun of the Dead is one that comes to mind too.
Michael Wolf in London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Had to get the werewolf in there.
Black Sheep from Australia. That's a good one.
There we go. I will say on Voorhees.
Undead. That's another good one.
Somehow. I like
fucking zombie fish.
Jared, can you hear us?
I can hear you. You guys are glitching.
Okay.
I don't know if it's me or what.
Train to Busan masterpiece.
Yeah, I finally got to see that this year, and I put it off for so long, and it was really good.
I was so fucking tired of zombie movies. I didn't want to see another one. And then it made me change my mind. I was like, oh shit, there's still something. There's still fuel in the tank on that.
Yeah, it was a great ride all the way through, and then the ending is like, whew.
Yep. I got the sequel on Voodoo Peninsula. I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh, I'm down to see it. I mean, the South Koreans have been kicking ass for 20 years. If you ain't watching South Korean cinema, not just horror, you're missing out on some amazing films.
That's 100% true. That is 100% true. Let's see, April Fool's Day. What's April Fool? What about it? It's a fun movie. Oh, yeah, the comedy, and yeah, I agree. I love April Fool's Day.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, modern horror has lots of good horror, but it's few and far between.
That was always the case, though, Steven, man. There were shit movies in the 70s and 80s. There were shit movies in the 90s. It's always been balanced. It's always been good and bad. We were just 5 and 6 and 7 years old, and we didn't see the bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad, especially for the 80s. We can talk per capita, almost, because there were. If you look at a chart of how many movies came out per decade, the 80s is all the way at the very top, where and so most of the 80s movies aren't that good. Let's be honest.
The more I go back and look at, the least I go, wow, the rose-colored glasses are starting to go a little clearer now.
We had a lot of fun with a lot of, like the Friday the 13th, but there's a movie called Demon Wind. What a big pile of shit. That movie, have you ever seen Demon Wind? I mean, that is one of the biggest, dumbest motherfuckers.
I still haven't seen it. Well, that was the thing that bothered me when the last Joe Bob thing, like people were hating on the Joe Bob group about Haunt, and I was like, Haunt was great, and then they were like praising Hack-A-Lantern. I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's fun, but it's
but it's 80s and it's nostalgia. That's the difference. That's the problem with horror fans. No offense to many horror fans. I love 80s nostalgia. I love some of the movies from the 90s and definitely love movies from the 70s. But there's a lot of good horror, and maybe some people are missing the point. We've talked about this before with some of our other shows, like with movies like Us, like Get Out. I think people maybe just might be missing why they're so good.
It's that old man shit. It was better when I was younger. It's just we're not willing to admit that we're old. It's like Paul Schrader. Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver, my favorite film, said this bullshit. Everybody's romanticized the 70s and the 80s. He goes, there are better filmmakers today than there were then. And he goes, and I was one of the filmmakers from that time. He goes, I'm telling you right now, there's just as many, or if not more, talented filmmakers now than there were then.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out, even in the last year. Well, the last really good horror movie I saw was the Invisible Man remake.
Yes.
I thought that was excellent.
That was so great.
And last year, what was Midsummer last year or the year before?
It was last year, I think.
I believe so.
And I do think
Us came out last year, which I loved.
So that movie is so fucking underrated, and it's a shame because it's got a great cast, it's got a great story, and a kind of a great twist. I love it. So Jordan Peele is having his company remake People Under the Stairs. Cool. I'd rather see him do it. Was my thought before. I'd rather see him do it if he's going to do it. Like when he said he was attached to Candyman, I was like, fuck yes. But he's not directing it. Now, the person who's directing it might be fine, but I really wanted to see Jordan Peele tackle that movie, And I would like to tackle him.
I don't know if he's opening doors for African American filmmakers to tell these African American stories.
Well, I think that's great, but I'm just saying
both of those films are African American stories.
But from a fan of his, I want to see him, make some of these movies. He's got his fingers, and maybe it'll be like, Steven Spielberg being the producer on Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, and that's the other thing, though. Like some producers, like when they throw that name on there, it's just like, okay, cool. I don't care. He's a producer. Other producers, when they produce, like they actually give a shit with who they're getting to direct their stuff that they're dumping their money into.
Yeah, Haunt was epic. Had one big bad gripe, but I can't post the spoilers. I thought Haunt was a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was very surprised Joe Bob showed that, and very happy that he did because I really liked Haunt.
I kept putting it off, and then it popped up. Finally watched it. Yeah, I immediately ordered it.
Yeah. No, did you get it? Oh yeah, because you got the poster and everything, right?
Yeah, I got the some other. I can't remember what they're called. Ronin something. They're another, I guess, up and coming movie release thing. They're doing a I Spit on My Grave release and stuff
or something like that.
Yeah, Ronin Flicks or something like that.
Ronin is, I think that's the company I worked for. They're a combination of Code Red and Scorpion Releasing.
Okay.
So they got some porn mixed in there too?
Probably.
Yeah.
I haven't done any of those yet.
Nathan's like
the door or whatever.
Nathan's like my titty drawing games, not on point.
Yeah, I gotta get like perfect nipple placement skills down.
That's well, get in there, Okay, the next question, I'm typing it out. Sorry, I should. Betty Daytona says Ronan's box sets. Well, that's the wrong thing. Ronan's box sets are something special. They are a combo company.
Yeah, this is my first one.
Yeah. Which horror subgenre is your favorite?
Oh,
that's a tough question. I mean, you got so many now. You like ghosts? You like werewolves?
I'll say we know what Seth says.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna say right now I'm really heavily into Italian horror. That's its own subgenre.
I would say I like psychological stuff more than anything.
Okay.
I like trying to figure out the movie while I'm watching it.
I'm a slasher kid, but I'm tired of them. I really get excited about supernatural, like ghosts and demons and things like that. That's the stuff that, like, when I see a trailer for like Witch or a Conjuring movie or something, that's when I get kind of excited about something coming out.
Yeah. There's a lot of the movies in the past few years that have really grabbed me by trailers, like what you just said. And another one I keep forgetting to add to the conversations, It Follows. I fucking love that movie.
Mm-hmm. It's just kind of a mix of the supernatural and slasher genre.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's got a lot of elements from the past. What about you two, Seth and Jared?
Is Italian horror a subgenre?
It is
Technically,
to me. It can't because there's two of there's the gore or there's gore cannibals and then
giallo.
giallo. Yeah, I just lump it together. So. Seth, this is just werewolves for you.
Werewolves is a big one, but yeah, I mean, just supernatural stuff in general. Vampires, werewolves. Kind of getting a little bit more into ghost stuff now, but mostly werewolves. Like if I see a werewolf movie that's direct to video, I'm buying it.
Just make sure it's Jason Momoa. Do a review, and we can get 1,200 views on a video.
Seth, you should do a picture of just every werewolf movie you own.
I could probably do that.
A movie that made you feel uncomfortable after you watched it.
I've got a couple.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
Well, name them because I'm drawing a blank.
Go for it, Jared.
Martyrs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Inside.
Yeah. Inside, yeah.
There's another one that's from France called Calvaire.
Calvaire, the
Calvaire.
ordeal.
Calvaire, the ordeal.
The ordeal, yeah.
Like,
the French man for that early mid like Frontiers and High Tension and
yes, Frontiers, yes, for sure.
they were trying to make us go. Ugh. Yeah, I would add Hellraiser when I saw that. Exorcist. Shit, what was that one? It made me uncomfortable. Oh, I was really uncomfortable with the Maniac remake. I love it, but it made me feel sick because I'm in his shoes, and that really was disturbing.
Yeah,
I can't really think of anything, but like, I'm gonna say this movie makes me uncomfortable, but it's not in the like disturbing or disgusting uncomfortable. It's more in the I don't know what the fuck I would do in this situation uncomfortable, which is Babadook. And that kid goes fucking nuts. Like, I don't know what the fuck I would do. Like, I can't handle kids, but that kid, like, I love that movie. I'm not hating on that movie. But that kid makes me like a nervous fucking wreck.
Be patient with that kind of kid.
I would say Mother and Hereditary would be additions.
Yeah, Mother is very uncomfortable.
For me, I would say Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave. The kind of like those rapey ones. I don't.
The rapey
ones.
Yeah. I was disappointed with Last House on the Left.
It's Halloween. There's that one scene, just I don't like that bit.
The
Salo.
Oh yeah,
the one that Brian discussed with Jared. The
yeah, I have that one too. It's 30 Days of Sodom. Yes. That one's hard to watch.
Or any of the, what's his name? I Stand Alone, Irreversible. Yeah, somebody was talking about that day about Serbian film and all that. And I was like, I had no interest, and I think as a younger film, like when I was growing up, it was stuff like Cannibal Holocaust was like the test, or the Faces of Death movies were like the test, all that kind of thing. Yes. And as a young person, you're kind of into it. But at this point, I just look at that stuff and I'm like, I have no interest. I don't think somebody trying to cross lines for the sake of it or trying to push my, the human centipede thing is like, I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
And I hate that there are so many people who like, well, that's the only real horror. And that's what horror is. And all this other stuff is sissy shit. And it's like, take that shit to the fucking dump, That ain't horror. Horror has never been defined by that,
I would also add Serbian film to that. I've only watched it once, and I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah, I'll never watch that at all, ever. I have no.
It's one of those movies. Yeah.
What Nathan was just talking about with like when you're younger, there's movies that kind of like. They're trying to make you watch them to like prove yourself or something. That Serbian film was out when I was a teenager, and I was in computer maintenance class at trade school, and the teacher was like, "Yeah, don't watch that movie." So immediately teenage me is like, "Oh, I'm going to watch this movie," and I've seen it once. I don't think I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, I get tired of seeing in these groups. I've left all these groups, but I just get tired of seeing. I get tired of people saying that's if you don't like this or you don't love this ain't your favorite movie, you're not a real horror fan. Well, check my fucking credentials, asshole. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm not a goddamn horror.
No horror fan should say that to another horror fan.
Yeah.
I just thought of one that really I didn't. Necronomica. No, that's not it. What is it called? Necromantic.
Necromantic. Yeah.
That was another one of those old ones.
Fuck that movie. That movie's dumb as fuck. Okay, whatever genre Evil Dead is.
Oh, I'm election night. I'm cussing.
I have never watched the Human Centipede either. I probably never will.
I've seen all of them. It's not that bad. They become comedies like after the second one. The third one's legitimately a comedy.
What?
A comedy. God damn it.
Not a comedy. All right. This is from one of our followers who hates remakes, Rain Gilbretz. Says, do you think the comic Freddy versus Jason versus Ash would translate on the big screen well? I don't know how many of you have read that.
I haven't read the comic.
I don't ever want to see it.
But I when I heard that that's what they wanted to do film wise, right after the first one, I thought, oh fuck, that would be so awesome to see Freddy and Ash just verbally bashing each other and taunting each other. I don't know how the comic played out, but I thought that would be just so fun. And then of course Sam killed it. But
did we skip over my question? I had another question at one point.
What is your favorite
psychological horror movie?
What is psychological horror? I mean, technically, what is? I mean, that's always one of those. What defines like? Is it? Are we just talking about thriller?
No, like something that has a twist or fucks with your brain. Like I would say, High Tension is a psychological horror. I would say in my mind.
I think it's
I don't know. It's weird because some of the movies that when I looked it up that come out of that subgenre are just regular horror movies to me. Like The Shining's one of them. When a Stranger Calls, The Strangers, The Haunt, and some of these aren't fucking psychological horror.
Yeah, some of those I could see Shining being in psychological a little bit.
Yeah, Escape Room, which I've never seen.
Yeah, that's not psychological. It's fun though.
Jacob's Ladder, I think,
what is the official definition? Psychological.
Flatliners. Of the word psychological?
Yeah, let's see. What is the of affecting or arising in the mind related to the mental and emotional state of a person. So it's probably like dealing with psychopath, sociopath, maniacs like Hannibal Lecter and Norman Bates and shit
what
like
about
that.
The Hitcher?
I guess anything with a psychopath or someone who's dealing with mental illness, Babadook, things like that. I guess I would go with 7. Would be my favorite, maybe. If you could count that.
I count it.
I would.
I don't care what anybody says. 7's a fucking horror movie.
I fucking love 7. And,
it's great.
I think of Caruso in Session 9. That's a mindfuck psychological horror.
Somebody mentioned that on my page, actually.
I wouldn't necessarily call it my favorite, but when you're like talking about things that you guys haven't already mentioned, because we're trying to learn you guys on other movies, but Session 9 is really good.
Yeah, it was an excellent.
Yeah, Robinson Crusoe in it.
Overlooked. It had Warren Beatty in it, didn't it? The kid from Empire Records, wasn't he in it? Wasn't he in Brandon Sexton? I think he was like the young kid working with him, wasn't he?
Warren, that guy.
Whitney Houston.
Warren.
My answer to this is George Romero's Martin.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd say that's psychological.
Yeah.
Looks like Illinois is gone Democrat.
I still have not seen Martin. I know that's another one. I know that's another one that's supposed to be getting released by Second Sight, the one they're releasing that Dawn of the Dead set. But
that's a top 10 vampire film if there ever was one.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get a hold of. I don't even think it's streaming anywhere.
It's Romero's best non-zombie movie.
Well, I mean, I'm a fan of the Crazies as well.
Yeah, me too. I was just gonna say that.
Let's say how many of his movies are not zombie?
A lot.
Oh, that's quite a bit. But
Is
Martin is just really interesting take on the vampire mythos.
Yeah.
Your Ed Harris in that other movie he did. What was it? Ed Face Blasters or something?
Are you talking about that motorcycle thing?
Oh,
I know of,
yeah.
I know of this movie, but I've never seen it.
I love the ending.
Totally flaking on the name.
I love the ending to that.
Any other questions from our followers out there?
We had a few more, didn't we? On our they were asked on before.
Yeah, there's one that I almost don't want to read now. But what will it take to be the next big bad iconic horror killer?
I mean,
that's actually a really good question. Go ahead, Keith.
I feel like we've already had them. I mean, like, how long ago are they thinking? Because, I mean, we had, like, with Jigsaw, Billy the Puppet became an icon in itself. Just the imagery of Billy the Puppet. And then, like we've talked about before, like the Fireflies, they are definitely iconic. Captain Spaulding, I feel like everybody knows that face by now.
I think that goes back to the generational thing again, like we talked about old people. Like, okay, we're saying there's no Jasons, there's no Freddys. There certainly are. I mean, all you do is go into Walmart now and you can see a Sam figure and a Jigsaw figure and a Nun figure, and they're there. They just may not mean to us what it means to your generation, Keith. The Ghostface. I mean, I'm sure there's people who won't even give Ghostface credit, but why wouldn't they? He's got 4 movies and a TV series and a 5th movie on the way. He's just
a video game.
Yeah. But there will be people who will swear up and down that he is not in the league with Pinhead and all that. And really look at it. Pinhead, well, he got 2 good movies.
I'd say 3 at least.
2 good. Scream's got more better movies than Hellraiser had.
Inferno was really good. I love it. Even though it shouldn't have ever been a Hellraiser movie.
I love Inferno. It's one of my favorite sequels.
It didn't feel like a Hellraiser movie at all, but it was good.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like we have big bad icons already.
There's also Victor Crowley could have been, and now
I still see it.
Clown is becoming a kind of
art. No matter what you say.
Yeah.
No matter what I say, I still hate him.
Yeah, I don't hate the character, and I don't hate his. I think.
I hate the movie. I take it back.
It's a better movie.
The movie's terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, even though. Sorry, I would say even though it's a remake, I mean, the new Pennywise, like that fucking blew up. Like I couldn't go anywhere without seeing the new Pennywise anywhere.
He's become my Pennywise now. When I look at him, I like Tim Curry.
That's fair.
But I think he just everything about him is just fucking nailed it. I don't like the sequel, but the first movie is top notch. It's the best It movie. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I mean, that's the thing. I like the old Tim Curry Pennywise movie because I grew up with it, but it is very boring at sometimes. Tim Curry's what holds it together. Yeah, it's a TV movie.
Movie with David Hess and Joe Spinell. My favorite David Hess movie is Hitchhike. With the Franco Nero Django.
So, excuse my millennial brain. I have to Google these names.
Yeah, don't worry.
Maniac. Joe
Spinell. I'm just gonna say Rocky because I don't.
Yeah, the best movie is Joe Spinell, and he's not the star.
Yeah, I hate Maniac. I really do not like that movie.
I mean, my favorite movie is Taxi Driver, and Joe's in that, so we'll go with Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
So you got the Lone Shark in Rocky, and then his main acting in Maniac.
So with David Hess, are we talking about the
composer? No, we're talking. Well, he is a composer, but he's Krug in Last House on the Left.
Oh, okay.
He's also a baseball player.
He was also in another home invasion movie. I can't remember what it's called.
Last House, or it's
Last House on Dead Street.
Something similar, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
where there was some rapey stuff going on too. It's like, man, this guy has an itch.
Was it the house at the edge of the park? Is that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. just another capitalize on that Last House stuff.
Yeah, not two guys that I look for when it comes to movies.
Or we'll go with Swamp Thing.
New Pennywise is the best representation from the book, I guess. Tim Curry is pure nostalgia. Can't wait for my Prime 1 statue to get here.
Yeah, I mean, I take nothing away from Curry. He's great.
It's Tim Curry.
Yeah, but he's Tim Curry. I mean, hey, Georgie. But he didn't scare me though. But again, I was 13 when that movie came out.
It's also a TV movie. That doesn't help.
TV movie, but like when in that scene with Georgie in the sewer in the beginning of it was terrifying. They were able to take a scene that I already knew what was going to happen, familiar with, and it creeped me out.
Oh yeah, it made Reynolds had seen the 1990 TV movie and loved it, and so we went and saw the new movie, and that scene we lasted another 15 minutes in the theater before we had to leave.
Well,
so
it was effective. My favorite thing still about the remake is when Bill Hader in the second one came on set. He apparently asked what the hell's the guy's name that plays Pennywise? I can't remember his fucking name.
Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, he asked him how they did the eye thing, like if it was digital, and it's just him. He has a lazy eye and he can just like let it fucking drift.
And that goes to that movie as well. Like with people like Javier Botet and all that. There are so many people who just assume that stuff is CGI now. That even when it isn't, people just say it's CGI.
Yeah. Well, that happened with the new Witch movie that came out. Everybody kept seeing the big smile on Anne Hathaway. That's makeup. It's not CGI.
Yeah, like when BB-8 rolled out in the trailer, everybody's like, "Oh, CGI." I was like, "No, that fucking thing's real. It's rolling right there." They brought it out on the stage. It's like but that's the thing. Everybody just thinks they're smarter than the filmmakers, and when we make innovations, they don't get the same respect. They're making innovations all the time in film. Still,
Jon Favreau just made one of the biggest ones in recent history.
Shit, man. Like that's how. But Mandalorian, that's how films are going to be made from now on because it's going to save so much money and transportation.
They're already using it on Kenobi, and they're using it on the new Batman movie.
I got a question. Will Mitch McConnell live 6 more years?
Not if he loses tonight, he won't.
He already won.
Oh, he's already won.
I just saw
he was losing last time I saw.
Yeah, well, Kentucky's already been called. Illinois has been called. Anyway.
Hardcore chick running against him. Military veteran?
Yeah, female fighter pilot can't.
Doesn't matter.
The Emperor. Not a fan of it.
Moving on. No politics.
Yeah.
The under the bleachers scene.
Put down in my history.
I need to watch 2 again. I only saw it the one time.
Me too. I haven't seen it again.
Jared and I went and saw that at Horror Hound. It was a big mistake.
I fucking passed out.
Yeah, it was because, man.
Fucking 3 hours long at midnight.
We all thought it was such a grand idea.
It was. I mean, Horror Hound weekend. It was coming out that same weekend. It just seemed like a no-brainer.
Have you seen a movie called The Undertaker from 1989 from Scott Montgomery? I have not.
That doesn't sound familiar.
No.
Undertaker.
I don't think I've seen that either.
But it's got to be better than all the modern horror movies, right? Came out in the 80s.
The Undertaker. 1988?
No, for sure.
Joe Spinell.
I don't know what the fascination is with people in Joe Spinell, honestly. I never understood it.
Man, he's creepy as shit. But
that's the guy from Maniac, right?
Yeah, I like the remake of Maniac better.
He's fucking. He just looks like a fucking sleaze bag. He freaks me out.
Got any more questions?
Yeah, 1 second, Turkish. I'm looking, trying to copy and paste one from Facebook because I don't want to type it out. Okay, it's long. It's a long question. It's a pretty good question though. Here's one to chew on for a moment because I like this one a lot. Collectively, can the Horror Syndicate agree and give an all-time favorite horror movie?
I'm just gonna go in a big no.
Yeah, I mean that's such an individual thing. Yeah.
I have no clue.
I think we could probably.
Well, we did that list. What was our number one on our big list?
I think we could level-headedly like decide what should be a top 10, maybe.
Wasn't it like Scream or some shit?
I feel like it was Scream or like The Shining or something like that. I think it might have been Scream because mine was so high.
I think Scream was number 3 on that list.
Yeah, it was. We have to search the depths of our.
I think Dawn of the Dead was number 1.
Was it Dawn of the Dead? It might seem right. We have to go back to that episode and we did a top 100, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. 3 episodes. And that's a good question. Just it's hard to say because like my favorite movie is probably different from Seth's and like let's just go around the room.
You and I got to eat the same answer, right?
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mine. So
Evil Dead 2 and Seth is your
favorite. You get this fucking
and Jared is
this is never gonna happen.
What was yours again, Jared?
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. But I think Dawn of the Dead was our number 1. Because I think all 3 of us had it all 5 of us had it high.
That sounds right. I don't remember.
It's hard, you can't. Even right now, I can say like, yeah, I have like 2 or 3 of them that are interchangeable as like my favorites. But Dawn of the Dead is always the one that I go back to.
Did I just find it? I found a list on my phone. Dawn of the Dead's at the top, and then Halloween, Scream, Return of the Living Dead, Jaws, The Shining.
I can collectively agree that all 5 of our choices are deserving of it. I love all of them.
Yeah, I remember liking everything that got picked.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes us a good group too, because we all have, different likes and dislikes, and like we can come together and appreciate, obviously these are all movies we like. We just have opinions and we have assholes and, every opinion is like an asshole.
I know you had a question in the pre-show that I thought might be an interesting one, which was like, what's your rarest movie or your white whale movie or set or something?
That was a collector's question. What was your my what was it, the priciest or most valuable piece of my collection as far as my DVDs and Blu-rays, and what's my white whale, the one that I want the most? Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray could be, or it could be the Dead Alive DVD. I don't know.
Anchor Babe Blu-ray of or Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I think that I bought it for $7 or something. It's like $200 now.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't. As far as movies go, I don't really think about that shit. There's still white whale. I call it Grail items that I still would like to get for my collecting days. But
I know what me and Seth says.
What?
And until Peter gives us a better version, that fucking out of print version of Dead Alive is all we got, and it's like freaking over $100. And I had that too.
Yeah, I don't own Dead Alive, sadly. But I think me and Seth would probably be the Halloween box set. Because they just can't obtain it. I mean, I have my printed crap, but...
Yeah, but the thing about it is you can get all the Halloween movies.
True.
You can't get Dead Alive almost at all. And then, the Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray, you have to be region free or get 4K. The whole point
that region K from
not everybody's region free, and not everybody has a 4K player. Just
was
get a 4K player.
Was that one from Europe that Nicholas Winding Refn did? That was for Dawn of the Dead. He had a huge.
Hey Jared, I saw the Neon Demon at the dollar store the other day.
No.
Yeah. $1.
Ray,
I would buy all of them and sell them.
Doesn't your Xbox have
$4?
Doesn't your Xbox have a 4K player, Ray?
I have no idea. I use my Xbox for what it's made for, which is gaming, not watching movies. Yeah, I don't. I won't I won't watch movies on my Xbox. That's dumb.
I don't either. That's the thing.
I think that
I have a separate system for movies.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I was just saying.
And I'm still not.
So I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks that way. That's okay.
Yeah, no,
That's
my friend Edgar had his original Xbox, and he ruined it by using it for a DVD player. It stopped reading games at some point, so I use that as a cautionary tale, and I don't do that. They got Blu-ray players. I'm never gonna go region free. It's not worth it. There's for 1 or 2 movies. Fuck that shit. Okay. I think let's see. There was a question, but I can't find it. Something about how we coped in 2020 without being able to go see new movies. I can't remember where that came from, and I can't read my own handwriting, which is awesome to think about.
I've gone to the theater like 7 times, I think.
Well, I haven't been in the theater since February, I guess. Maybe March, early March. I don't want to get into a region-free debate. There's no debate. I'm never getting a region-free Blu-ray player. There's no debate. I'm not going to make those Arrow sales worth it because I'm fine with what I have. I'm not a compulsive buyer like Keith is.
Hey now.
You are.
So can I pose a question to the panel and anybody that's listening?
Yeah.
We kind of already touched on a few of these, but what's a non-mainstream horror movie that you love that most probably don't know about?
Oh. Fuck.
And it can't be foreign.
Mainstream?
Not mainstream.
Not mainstream and non-horror.
No, not mainstream that most don't know of.
Oh, but horror.
Which would probably be not mainstream anyways, but yeah.
Yeah. One movie that I really, really loved from the last decade was Burning Bright, which I don't think a lot of people saw. That was one that when I would bring up, usually I'd get crickets. And it was just something I rented at Redbox and was just like, oh, this is pretty good. And no one saw it.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
I think I brought it up on the show. It's about the tiger.
Yeah, you did bring this up on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think everybody's seen pretty much everything I've seen.
That's how I feel. But I'm playing catch up, so.
I know Nate has discussed this, and I am a very big fan of it. It was Student Gordon's King of the Ants.
Yep. There's a movie called End of the Line I thought was pretty good. Movie called The Devil's Chair, which I think any Hellraiser fan would appreciate. Even had Matt Berry in it from What We Do in the Shadows and IT Crowd. Man, there really are a lot. I've one that I don't think I hear enough about, although I think people have seen it, is The Devil's Candy. Blew me away. I love The Devil's Candy.
Yeah, with Ethan Embry.
Yeah. Dead Man's Shoes kind of walks the horror. It was kind of presented as a slasher film. It's one of my favorite films of the last 20 years.
Mausoleum's a riot. Is it? Yeah, I can't think of anything. Most of the stuff that would be mainstream, I think people would know. Like mainstream is things that are theatrically released, in my opinion, that have like commercials on TV and shit, like The Conjuring. Like, unless we're doing deep dives with Demon Wind, is supposedly one people know that I've never even heard of until last year, and it's fucking awful. So,
Street Trash.
Street Trash is awful too. I don't care what
I
Mike Lumber says.
I have fun with that movie.
You can have fun with it all day long. It's still a piece of shit.
I sometimes when I bring up Targets, I don't usually get people responding to it. Peter Bogdanovich's first movie with Boris Karloff from 1968. There's another one that it was one of those movies. If you talk about movies where the white whale situation, there was I bought an issue of Fangoria or something back in the 80s, and there was an image of a masked killer holding a knife up, and I had no idea what it was from. It was just an ad. They didn't say what the movie was, and it took me like 25 years to find out what it was. In an article that John Kitley wrote in Horror Hound magazine, he did a article on it. It was called Paranoiac with Oliver Reed. I think it may have been a Hammer film, and it was pretty good. I finally, when I wrote him, I said, "Thank you so much for writing this article," because I had no idea what that movie was.
Say an ad that doesn't tell you what the movie is. That's a bad ad.
Yeah, it was just advertise. It was using to advertise something else other than the movie. You know, it was just this creepy image of this mask. And I just for decades, and John saved me. Is like, here's what it is. And it's I mean, if I had to compare it to something, maybe a Psycho type movie.
I would say the only movie I could think of that's not really mainstream that some people probably don't know about, which I know most of you probably do, and I haven't watched it forever, which is Satan's Little Helper.
Yeah, that was fun.
I used to rent it all the time at Blockbusters growing up, but I haven't seen it in ages. I have no clue how well it holds up. I just remember it being ridiculous and that kids like run over people for points in a buggy.
Death Race 2000.
Yeah, Death Race 2000.
I've never seen that. Isn't there a remake? I think I've seen the remake.
Yeah, I love Death Race 2000. My cousin James rented it one time in the late 80s. Came home from the video store. We're all this family hanging out. He pops that in, and it's like, what the fuck is this? It's one of the funnest movies. It's probably outside of the Vincent Price Poe movies. It's probably my favorite Roger Corman movie. It's just David Carradine, Sylvester Stallone, Martin Cove. It's just a whole lot of fun.
David Gill said Tourist Trap is one that comes to mind. That is where a big joke came about with me.
Oh yeah, Chet Connors.
Because we were at Horror Hound, and I was like, they had the Full Moon Table booth, and I was like, I really want to get Tourist Trap. And Ray was like, why the hell do you want Tourist Trap? And I was like, I watched it with Joe Bob, and I actually liked it for some reason. I don't know why. And I was like, I think it's because Chuck Connors is in it. And he was like, why? What about Chuck Connors? I was like, I grew up watching Rifleman, and I love Chuck Connors. And he was like, how fucking old are you?
Mid-60s.
I liked a lot of the. I liked. I thought one that was good. The Jack Ketchum's The Lost.
Yes,
get a lot of play or talk about. I like that one.
The other one that they did an adaptation to for that his book was The Girl Next Door.
Yeah. That was good. There was a movie called The Children. I think Fangoria came out, not the 1981, but the maybe came out 12, 13 years ago. I remember that was really good. Splinter is one I didn't see a lot of people talk about.
Was that the one from like 09 maybe to 07?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some great stuff, and people are just focused on remakes, like that's all they get, and it's horseshit because there are 80-90% of the stuff that we've gotten in the last 20 years has been original. You fuckers just don't watch it. Autopsy of Jane Doe. I mean, again, The Monster. There's been so many. The Void. You guys did a show on that.
Void. Mandy was another one you guys
Mandy. I fucking love Mandy.
I haven't seen I haven't seen The Color in Space yet, but I heard good things about that one too.
It's a ride.
Girl walks home alone at nights.
I feel like the other thing might be that, like we talk with streaming services, like there's so much substance to absorb, and I feel like a lot of these horror movies we're talking about that aren't theatrical or remakes, I feel like they don't get enough like advertisement, or they don't reach people or something.
It goes back to also, again, I've talked about the way people watch movies. In the 80s, we're all nostalgic for it. You went to the video store, you picked out your movies, you had to pay for them, you got 2 or 3 or 4 maybe, you took them home, and that's what you had. And you watched them again and again and again. You sat through them because you paid for them. But now you just go, Haunts, what's this? Play it, 10 minutes. This sucks. What else? That's it.
Yeah.
What else can I watch?
I have friends that won't finish a movie through the beginning, and I'm like, I don't understand you people. I'll at least finish the movie. If it's bad, then at least I can talk about it and say, I watched the whole thing. I still don't like it. I gave it its fair shake. Instead of, I watched the opening, and that was it. Because that was something like when the last Ghostbusters movie came out. Like, I did not like the look of it at all, like for me anyways. And then I watched it, and I still didn't like it. But at least I could say I watched it. Like, I gave it a chance.
Oh yeah, people were saying it. This movie sucks.
People were just ignoring it immediately, and I was I'm still gonna at least watch it.
That just sums up people now of like the screenwriter for Ghostbusters 2016 or whatever it was that said, I read that it sucked and I hadn't even written it yet. And that is the internet.
Let's see. Scott Montgomery said Girls Night Out 1982. I've never heard of this movie.
Scott seems to really deep dive for movies.
Yeah.
he really goes deep for some of these. Because he was posting stuff in some of our old posts on the Horror Syndicate Facebook page, and I'm like, what is this movie he's talking about?
So much VHS boom stuff at that time that there are movies I watched back then I don't remember. Like,
there's probably so many movies.
I see a lot of them titty movies, man. They were just everywhere.
I'll say there's probably so many of those movies like we don't even realize that they haven't been released since that first VHS release, and they'll never be seen ever again.
Yeah.
There are a few of those for sure.
Well, it's just like the other day, I was just scrolling through a horror site and I saw a poster for a movie that I completely forgot even existed. And I remember renting it from Blockbusters, and it was like Toonie Horror or something. It was like an animated horror movie with these like over the top animated like killers that had giant like hypnosis eyes.
That sounds wonderful.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It's probably god awful.
Toonie Horror?
Toonie Horror, I think is what it was called, or Toonie Terror.
I bet
never heard of that.
There's an Arrow release that is only available in Japan, and you're gonna buy it.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up for the night. Any final thoughts on anything you guys want to say? Just a free minute or so to talk about whatever. Seth, tell us some of your favorite things. You're on the big screen, buddy.
Why don't you come back to me?
He wants to go last.
Come on, Jared, you go.
Okay. That last topic that we were discussing, random movies that aren't mainstream that people might not have heard of. I did a review for the Horror Syndicate for a movie called Braid. It's kind of a crazy idea of a film. It's about these 3 girls that grew up living together and hanging out, and they had this game where they basically, like, nothing else existed, and they couldn't leave the house until the game was complete. Fast forward to the future, and now they're adults, and the game plays out again. It has, I don't remember the actress's name, but she's in The Handmaid's Tale. She's one of the main characters in it, but it's called Braid, like the hair. But it's a fascinating movie, and it's very colorfully lit. Like, the cinematography is amazing. The director's escaping me, but that's one of mine that I would throw out there for just a casual watch. You might be surprised.
Okay. Oh, this boy.
Hi. I don't know what the fuck to talk about.
Just throw something out there that you like.
That I like. Well, I'm very excited about The Haunt that I watched. So if you haven't watched The Haunt, watch it. It's on Shudder, or watch it with Joe Bob, which is even better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And then you can watch Hackle Lantern.
Yeah.
And, really
I feel that movie seems like it would be a fun like party movie just to like riff on with friends, but like just watching it by myself, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, is this thing fucking over with? I'm tired and not in like a make fun of this movie mood. It's bad. I don't even remember what the fuck the plot was, if there was a plot.
Good night, April.
Nate, what about you, man? You got anything else you want to say before we roll off?
I mean, I kind of cut myself off there, but as far as modern horror goes, as a modern horror filmmaker, I take great offense to that shit. Especially, it's kind of conflicting because all I see is support indie horror. We love indie horror. We love indie horror. But modern horror sucks. Modern horror sucks. And it's like, well, what is it? Which is it? Like, and the thing is, like, I'm an indie horror filmmaker, and I've had a lot of nice things said about me. I've had a lot of negative things said, but like, I haven't made anything as good as the It remake or Midsummer or Hereditary or Get Out or all this. Like, so when I see that stuff sucks, but The Barn's amazing, I'm like, well, what? I don't know. I get tired of seeing that because I know a lot of talented people out there. There are a lot of talented people out there. They are making good stuff. And when all I hear is that it's all bullshit, it all sucks, it's not as good as this, I think it's just a slap in the face of a lot of hardworking, talented people out there who are producing great things that aren't given a fair share or I don't know. I guess I'm just the wrong horror fan because I like to celebrate people working hard and doing things and following dreams and I hate this attitude. I've left all the horror groups. I've left because it's like I don't even pay attention to comments anymore or anything because I just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I'm just gonna make my art. You can like it or you don't. I'm making it for me because I enjoy it, and all the people I know are the same way. But this negativity, and I wrote a post last night about this. I won't go into details, but we don't know where people are coming from in their life experiences and things. When you shit on people and you shit on films, especially if someone's telling you how much they love something, if somebody's in a fan group saying, "Hey, I watched Haunt and I loved it," or "Hey, I loved, Halloween 5 or whatever the hell it is," and you just like, "Oh, you're not a real horror fan and you stupid, you suck, all this shit." And it's like,
that movie was bullshit.
Yeah, what if that was the last movie that person saw with dad before he passed away from cancer? What if that's the movie that their brother showed them when they were 5 that made them become a special effects makeup artists and that's what they do for a living now? What if that you don't know, and there's just no fucking there's nothing to gain in shitting on people's enthusiasm and love and passion.
Not at all.
And I don't know what the people who get joy out of that or pleasure out of that need to really look at themselves and ask why. Why does that make me? Do I need that to feel good about what I'm doing? If so, maybe I'm not doing enough in my life. So there you go. I'm done.
Seth, anything you want to say?
Yeah, sure. The Wolfman remake is really good. You should watch it.
Hearing that fucking.
I can just see. I can't see Ray, but I'm just imagining the eyes are rolling on that.
Dumpster fires.
I passed out for a second. What'd you say?
I don't know. I mean, I got. I look at the movies that I like, and it's I guess my taste is pretty questionable. I do like a lot of these like direct-to-video werewolf movies and stuff like that. You know, we're not all going to agree on what we like and what we dislike, and everyone should just shut the fuck up and enjoy.
Be a fan, you know. Be a fan. Yeah. If you're going to call yourself a fan, be a fucking fan of something.
We're all on the same team, guys.
Yeah, we're horror fans. That's exactly right. Yeah, good show, enjoyable. It's always good to hear Nate's real feelings. Oh, I don't want to see my face. What's going on here? I hit that button on accident. I don't care about my face.
Dude, people fucking work hard on this stuff. And it just, I hate when I see hard work written off as meh, dumpster fire, shit. It's like, you you've never fucking written a thing in your life. You never directed a thing in your life. You don't know shit.
You know, it's funny. I used to be kind of like that way, like when I was in my 20s or whatever, like on the internet, you know, I would be kind of rude about it, very strong opinion. But like now I'm at a point where, you know, I just watched a fan film that just came out and I haven't said anything online because I know that, you know, those guys put a lot of, you know, they put hard work into it. They didn't try to make a bad movie, you know, so I'm not going to sit here and shit on them. Like, I'll shit on them in the comments to you guys privately, but not publicly.
But it's different. It's not like you're on a group page and someone's saying like, I really like this movie, and you're immediately going to the comments saying like, no, it's a bad movie. Like that's the thing. Like you're taking away someone's joy. It's not like you're openly having a conversation. Because some people will just say, I don't know, they'll say I love Reanimator or something. And somebody will just be like, that's a shitty movie immediately. Like
or like what was it? Like last spring maybe? I did a ranking of all the James Bond movies for Nightfall Unlimited, and I shared it in a bunch of groups, and there was like one group, there was one comment, and this guy just goes, that's a shit list. And it's like, why?
What a
It's my
and they don't respond. They don't respond. They don't. They
exactly. Yeah.
And they're a bunch of sad fucking
been in front of this.
sad people. You look at a fucking YouTube video of some 6-year-old playing Eddie Van Halen's Eruption flawlessly, and there's like 20 dislikes. Like, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Don't get a life. Anybody who makes negative comments and hits the down arrow on a YouTube video has problems.
Yeah,
and I sympathize for you, and I'm very sorry for you. Go have a beer.
It's a good idea.
Do something that makes yourself happy. Because obviously you're not. Because if you're fucking putting thumbs down on a child playing a drum solo.
Listen, I put a thumbs down on a video that said Mark Hamill's not my fucking Chucky. I think that was okay. I think that was totally wrong. Anyway, so that's our show for the night. It's one of the worst nights of the year, so we try to have it fun.
Hard to be in a good mood.
Yeah, especially with some of the results right now. Biden's leading, so. That's our show. We thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, you should to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube, and thumbs down all our videos. If you want to be a fan.
Thanks for watching, America. And
you can do it because I don't look at the page.
The truth comes out. Have a good evening. We'll see you next time.